Good afternoon and welcome to today's edition of the afternoon edition. My name is Isa Nu. Today we shall be focusing still on the issues that is happening presently in Nigeria with respect to the issue of economy, security, the budget allocation, and so many issues just cycling within the budget frame. And in recent years, Nigeria has experienced a resurgence of optimism and hope, marking a turning point in its journey towards socio-economic development. As the most populous country in Africa, Nigeria plays a crucial role in the continent's progress. A confluence of factors, including political reforms, economic initiatives, and societal changes, has contributed to the renewed hope for a better Nigeria. One of the key drivers of the renewed hope in Nigeria is the commitment to political reforms aimed at fostering transparency, accountability, and good governance. Efforts to strengthen democratic institutions and enhance the electoral process have contributed to a more inclusive, participatory political landscape. Citizens are increasingly engaging with the political process, fostering a sense of ownership and responsibility. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration has taken a step to address some of the loopholes in the previous administration by appointing key stakeholders with enviable track records to manage the activities of anti-corruption activism in Nigeria. Due to its long-standing challenges in the country, while there is renewed hope, Nigeria still faces challenges on its path to progress. Security concerns, infrastructure deficit, and persistent socio-economic inequalities require sustained effort and comprehensive strategies. So today, we'll be having this conversation with nobody but Mr. Desmond. Mr. Desmond Fowobi, who is here in the studio and will be telling us more about the plans of the government. Mr. Desmond Fowobi is a major pusher within the APC forum and definitely has more light to shed on some of the achievements that is being made by this present government. So we take a very short break, and when we return, we continue the conversation.
As a free state in 20th century Africa is the need to revive the stature of man in Africa and restore the dignity of man in the world. Nigerians believe passionately in the fundamental human rights. We regard all races of the human family as equal. Under no circumstance shall we accept the idea that the black race is inferior to any other race. I appeal to all our leaders, far and near, to forget the wounds which were inflicted in cause of our internecine altercation. The love of our country should outweigh the love of our petty selves. The enjoyment of individual freedom under the law should mean more to us than our self-centered party programs and manifestos. Common dangers and common enemies alert us on the need for common security. Come and join Abubakar with me, Sardauna, Awolowo, Akitola, Ofarebe, Okpara, Itoku, Aminu Kano, Ibrahim Imam, and Saka. Let us bind the nation's wound and let us heal the breaches of the past so that in forging our nation, there shall emerge on this continent a hate-free, fear-free, and greed-free people who shall be in the vanguard of a world task force whose assignment is not only to revive the stature of man in Africa, but to restore the dignity of man in the world.
The welfare of millions of people for generations to come may be affected by the wisdom which we here display. If Nigerian leaders and our British partners are to prove themselves worthy of their trust, now is the time for us solemnly and truly to dedicate ourselves to seeking the greatest good of the greatest number of our people in Nigeria. Independence for Nigeria in 1960 is imperative. But independence for Nigeria as a corporate entity is not enough. The peoples of Nigeria must at the same time be guaranteed their freedom. We must ensure that in an independent Nigeria, individual citizens throughout the land enjoy liberty, human dignity, and equality under the law. There must be one Nigeria with one constitution and one law for all. Let us therefore, Mr. Chairman, sir, close our ears to the counsel of despair, which says that we cannot here at this conference agree on a constitution. If there's any doubt among us as to what should be written into the constitution, let us, as Democrats that we profess ourselves to be, refer such problems, as the Gaulle has done recently, to the people whom we profess to represent, either just before or at the federal elections late in 1959.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we would realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite.
This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of ASO Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, ASO Television DSTV Channel 392, Star Times Terrestrial Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, People's TV Channel 285, and UHF Channel 38.
Welcome back from the break, and just before the break, I did inform you that we are having Honorable Olufobi Desmond, who is a public affairs analyst, to discuss this issue with us today. Honorable, good afternoon, and welcome to the afternoon edition.
Good afternoon, and it's a pleasure to be in your studio.
It's been a while I've had you to discuss on issues that has to do with the nation, and just recently I listened to your interview, and you are a core member of the All Progressive Congress. What can you say about the state of the nation now?
First of all, we need to give thanks to God for everything that God has done in the life of this country, because to some extent, I think for the first time in some years, Nigeria is beginning to experience some level of stability, progression towards economy, political, and also the security, though it is without some challenges. But I think Nigeria are actually breathing good air presently, with what I'm saying. Though there's some situation like economic, let me just be specific, the economic situation actually as a result of some of the bad actions of some people in government in the past, as a result of some of international policy and politics, and some of the things that we are experiencing presently in Nigeria is as a result of global meltdown, global economy, politics, and the rest of them, and some bad actions of some previous people in government, which has brought us where we are, which is not very favorable to most Nigerians. That's the reality, that not everybody is smiling. But looking away from the hardship, you find out that a lot of Nigerians, to some extent, if you look deeply, you notice that a lot of Nigerians are experiencing stability in government, and there is a wide level of hope. And that is why you've not seen some level of protest, you've not seen people committing suicide lately, you've not seen widespread frustration and all that. People have come to understand that there are multiplicity of actions in the past that have led to where we are right now, and it's not going to be an easy feast. People appreciate the actions of Mr. President, the direction the reform is going, the direction that the government has been taking. People who understand and have deep insight about governance and how society functions silently appreciate this present administration, and we just hope that with the renewed hope budget, we can have the renewed hope government that we always yearn for.
Okay, now that you've mentioned the renewed hope budget, just a few days back, the president presented the budget to the National Assembly, and definitely you see the issue of security is also topping the charts. Yeah. The issue of education is there. So, yeah. But when you look at it holistically, people still question the fact that why are we still pumping so much money into the security sector when the last administration spent so much in it? So what's your take on that?
Spending money on security is not without a reason. You will find out that in the last 6 years, security have always topped the charts. It's based on the situation in this part of the world. Since the emergence of the security issues like the Boko Haram, the issue of bandits, kidnappers, the increase in this level of obscurity in this country, that necessitated the increase in the budgeting to the security sector. And when you hear budget, it takes care of so many things. It's not just when people do not have proper analysis of what is being budgeted for. You know that before now, recently there is increase in the salaries of security agencies and all that. That also go into that budget, and also purchase of equipment, you understand, to bombard, and equipment to prosecute the war against terrorists and bandits is also part of the budget. And some of the things that foreigners and international consultants have suggested to the government in terms of using technology to fight security are also included in that budget. It's not just recurrent. It is holistic and comprehensive. The security budget consists of recurrent, that is the salaries and the maintenance of the infrastructure, as well as purchase of security equipment to further fight the battle, the fight against insecurity to a logical conclusion. And you will appreciate the effort that the federal government of Nigeria in the last 8 years to 12 years have put into this issue of security. And that is why normalcy has been returning to most cities that have been ravaged by insecurity in the last 12 years. It wasn't like this, and every day you'll appreciate that there is a level of security and stability returning to some of these villages and communities that have been ravaged by insecurity in the past, by attacks, incessant attacks and killings. You would understand today that it has reduced drastically. So that is to tell you that the money is giving results. The money or the budget that has been put into security is actually giving us results. And another thing is, the president has been traveling around different continents and different countries with international investors, foreign investors back to the country. And you cannot have investors drilling or trooping into your country without some level of security. And it is the assurance that Mr. President gave them that is making that budget also to go, because Mr. Gordon is head on in fighting insecurity in Nigeria. So it is normal for you to see such a budget, because this is a government that have seen certain results with the fight against insecurity. And when you are fighting insecurity, you're using money. So it is the budget. And as long as it is obvious that Nigerians are seeing the effect of the money that is being expended on security, I think the end actually justifies the means.
But in this particular case, people have also argued that if you spend more money in security,
yes,
and at the end of the day, we still have companies that are also leaving Nigeria to outside the country. But just this morning, I saw the SSA to the president, Mr. Tokwe Fashua, stated that, well, if we are having companies leaving the country, like the P&G, that's Procter & Gamble, the GlaxoSmithKline leaving the country, so it means that opportunities are also being created for local industry. How do you see opportunities being created for local industry when they also need things from abroad, outside the country, for them to be able to put up their factories together?
You see, first of all, these are two issues that you just raised. You raised the issue of companies leaving Nigeria. It is not the fault of. It is not as a result of insecurity. It's as a result of the economic reality of the country. Maybe cost of production, cost of running their business in Nigeria is very high, and then they feel like it is no longer profitable for them based on the kind of business they are doing right now. So you understand that, yes, it creates an opportunity for Nigerians to actually take over from where they are going, when people are going now from this business. But the point is, we need to understand that at this point, the whole world is suffering, and the government is trying. And I just want Nigerians who have the capacity to support this government to do the needful, to support the government, to see how they can project the country in good image. Some of the things we do as people also contributes to some of these negative and bad result that we are getting because of some of the things we say. We need to be more patriotic as citizens of this country. We need to put the interests of Nigeria at heart by saying the right thing and doing the right thing. Now, when we have the opportunity to interact with investors, we should not victimize them. We should not double tax them. We should not use corruption to chase them away. But the truth is, it rains everywhere. The economic hardship that Nigeria is facing is everywhere in the world. So if you are living in Nigeria, where are you going to? That you are not going to face some level of challenges. And you don't forget that Rome was not built in a day, and the builders of Rome are not Romans. So you need to understand that every nation have their trying times, and if you are in Nigeria to make money, when Nigeria is going through certain challenges, I think you should be patriotic, or let me say you should be responsible enough to help the country to grow, knowing that this will not last for too long.
Okay, you remember that the president of recent visited Dubai, that's UAE, and also before then he was in Saudi Arabia, just to see that yes, he ties this relationship and make sure that yes, the commerce industry also in Nigeria booms. But then at one particular point, then people also noted that the president is doing much to see that yes, he refashioned the image of Nigeria outside the country. And then we are having a situation whereby our industries seems to be not performing optimally to get some of our goods outside the country. What do you think the president would have to do to see that yes, we have our local industry performing effectively, and then they can also help in making sure that yes, there is a trade, there is a good volume of trade between Nigeria and other countries?
Like I said earlier, the president has been traveling to different, he earlier went to India. From India, he has been to Germany. From Germany, he has been to United Kingdom. He was in the UAE. He's in Dubai. He kept traveling. Do you know the reason? Because most Nigerians are making the job hard for Mr. President. And, Nigeria have its ambassador everywhere in the world. But do they all represent Nigeria in a good way? The answer is no. A lot of Nigerians are the reason why Nigerians is like this. I've had encountered with a lot of people that until they come to Nigeria, the kind of image or the kind of representation they have about Nigeria from Nigerians and from some people from political reasons is always very wrong. I've heard somebody who said the reason why he doesn't want to invest in Nigeria is because of some of the languages that is being used, that Nigeria is a zoo. You know, there are so many things that people do that has negative impacts in the lives of the people and the country that people don't take seriously, like saying good things about your country. Look at America today. God bless America. You know, people always say good things about America. Meanwhile, there are some places you go to in America that you will regret going to America. Insecurity is even more high in America. Go and find out. There is no single day that passes by that you don't hear cases of what? Killings of innocent people in that place, but you don't see them on the news. Do you know how many Americans that sleeps on the streets in different countries, in Florida, in California, you know, in LA and the rest of them? A lot, but you don't get to see them on the news. But for some people in Nigeria, for one reason that I don't know, or reasons that I don't know, projecting the country in bad image as if Nigeria is actually bad. I know Nigeria is one of the best country in the world. A lot of people are jackpotting to different parts of the world, and some of them ends up living their life in regrets for the rest of their life because they left a glorified country to some people, some country that, you know, the more you look, the less you see. What you order versus what you get, you know, because of the beautiful pictures they see on Facebook, beautiful pictures and stories they heard about certain countries. They sell all the properties, abandon their business that gives them profit, that is good enough to take them outside the country, and then you now go back as you travel outside the country and you can't come back to the country because you don't have enough money. If you come back to Nigeria, you may not be able to, you know, start and go back to Nigeria. You see, that's why some of them hang there, because of simple mistake of following lies. Nigeria is one of the best countries. There is no business you do in Nigeria, even in this hardship, even in this bad economy. People do business. There is no area you will go to in Nigeria that people are not doing projects, building projects, opening business, opening companies, doing great things. You can attest to this fact. And yet, some people will go there and keep complaining. And even this economic issue that we're talking about, though you might see the effect because you buy things more. But even the government have tried so many ways to cushion the effect. And that's how people are living. How many times have you walked on the street and you see people dying of hunger? Have you seen anybody walk? You walk past the street and it's just because of the news. Some people don't even know that Nigeria is going through some economic reformation or challenges. Some people don't know because they have not been privy to hear some of those negative news about this bad economy. They don't even know that Nigeria is going through any problem. You understand? Economically, because they are doing very well. So the way we speak, when we speak that our economy is getting it right, our economy is having it, the president getting it right, you lead to, or in a short distance, you find out that the country will be in the right trajectory and the right direction. Let's say good things about our country. Let's say that Nigeria is beautiful. God bless Nigeria. Nigeria is great. Truly, the president of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to deliver the renewed hope that all Nigerians have been waiting for in the last 31 years. You see, these are some of the things we just need to be doing right now. Say good things about the country, have good intention about the country, and work in the right direction to projecting the country and making the country one of the best in the world. That is how we can get out of this mess that we are in. President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not going to do this alone. We need all Nigerians to get, if you're pained about the current situation in Nigeria, you need to get work. How do you get work? There are little you can do that can go far. Start writing good stories about the country rather than projecting the country in a wrong way. Nigeria, some of the things you read on social media, Nigeria is not like that. Nigeria is not like that. I'm a Nigerian. You know, I have been in this country and I can tell you that I just started a business and it's thriving. I just started a business in this country, even in this bad economy, and it's thriving. All you just need to do is hard work. There is nothing free anymore. Even in Freetown, you want free meal, get to work. When you get to work, you'll be able to take care of yourself no matter how bad the economy. And that's one beautiful thing about this country, Nigeria. No matter how bad the country is, as long as you are not lazy, as long as you have whatever you are doing, you can't sleep in hunger.
But people have also raised so many questions with regards to how our legislators also carry out their activities, most especially their oversight function. Now that the president, the expectation for the MDAs to go and start defending their budget, they still have some few days to start the issue, and probably to last till early January of next year. What role do you think the legislators will have to play? Because Nigerians have criticized some of their decisions, most especially the issue of money with respect to the cars they are going to get for themselves and the rest of it like that. That sometimes even the issues that we are having with development in the country is as a result of the ill functions of the legislators in terms of their oversight function. They don't supervise or they don't follow up some of these projects to the latter.
Yeah, I think projects, investigation into projects of the house, any project that has to go into the budget, and scrutinizing, effective towards scrutinization of the budget is one of the biggest and the most important function of the National Assembly. The National Assembly, who is saddled with the responsibility to make laws, also have the responsibility to carry out oversight functions to checkmate the actions of ministries, parasasters, and agency. Now they are now coming up with budget. One of the fairest and the best thing that the National Assembly as an entity would do for Nigerians is proper and effective scrutinization of every penny that goes into the budget. You see, Nigerians, most of us, we are our own problem and our own enemy. People complaining about hardship, and then this is not time for luxury. I know some of them want to follow the tradition. You know, some of these things you're seeing right now is the tradition. They just come back into the budget. It has always been like that. But I think this government should show direction sincerely. This government should change direction as in cutting down governance expenses. I think if this government can do that, it will actually signal that it will be like a foundation for a good pedestal for the future. It has always been like this. You see, government, not just the National Assembly, some governors, some government, they want to change their car every year. They want to change this and that. If this government can say, no, we have more pressing issues than car. We have more pressing issues than renovating office. We have more pressing issue in our economy and our country infrastructure than luxury. It's just about responsibility anyways. Most of our senators and reps, they have cars. Some of them have flips of cars. Some of them will not even ride on that car. Some of them, when they get the car, they are still going to sell it just to get the money back. So I think every time we come on air, we talk that we want Nigeria to be better. If Nigeria must or will be better, it has to start from you. It has to start from you. You see, civil servants also have role. It wasn't Mr. President who write the budget. Mr. President only present the budget. This budget are sum up of document that comes from all agencies, all parasasters and ministries, through the ministers, to Mr. President, to the budget office, to Mr. President, and then Mr. President present to the National Assembly, and then this now go back to the office of the Accountant General for Disbursement and Finance. You see, we need to understand that it is Nigerians that put that budget together. It wasn't Mr. President. So sometimes the budget Tinubu presented, no. The president only give direction of his government. That this is what should top the priority of this government. This government want to bring a lot of Nigerians out of poverty. This government want to cushion the effect of the hardship that Nigerians is going through the subsidy removal. Nigerians need to have good road. Nigeria needs to have good life, capital development, infrastructural development. That is the direction of Mr. President. It is now left for the ministries, agencies, and parasasta to put the budget together in the direction that Mr. President wanted. So it is the responsibility of the ministry to ensure that the budget they are presenting is a budget that will deliver the dividends of governance to the people, not to their pocket like traditionally we usually see. If every penny that you have in that budget is meant to actually chase what the government said is going to chase, by the virtue of putting in that budget, I'm telling you, by the end of December 2024, Nigerians will have reason to sing praises and to give thanks to Almighty God and to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So it is now left for the ministries, it's now left for coordinated effort between the National Assembly, the legislature, the National Assembly, and the President, the Executive, to ensure that the budget are scrutinized and it delivers on its main purpose. Why the budget comes in, not some of the shady deals. And another thing that I want to advise this government is that I don't know the reason for that. I think I still need to do some research. Why do governments pay more for projects that I pay less as an individual, as a private entity? Why the government pay more?
It could be as a result of the procurement procedures and the rest of it.
Which procedure? Which procedure? It is corruption. It is corruption. For example, I can purchase a pen for 100 naira, 200, and in the budget you have a pen for 500 to 1,000. So what is it about procurement that will make government pay times 3 of commodity? So those are corruptions. So if this government is very serious, they should work strictly on that. National Assembly have a role to play. Although, it has always been chop and chop and claim out. But I want this government to show direction. That is what I want to say, because we have promised Nigeria renewed hope, and the only way we can deliver hope to the people is when we do the right thing. People that are in National Assembly, they are not poor. They should allow the poor to breathe, according to Mr. President. And the only way you can allow the poor to breathe is ensuring that you cut down the cost of governance to give priority to the people of Nigeria that are in need. Some of the things that our leaders are requesting, but they don't need it. And before man and God, sincerely speaking, they know they don't need it. So there are people that needed this thing. They should let this budget go to the poor people, rather than purchase renovation of office, buying laptops that you don't need. Some of them that are requesting for this laptop cannot press laptop. I beg your pardon. Some cannot press the laptop. So there are so many things. I'm just using this as an example. There are so many things you find in budget, mostly that they are not actually needed, but because of corruption and some of these things that I call unpatriotic, you understand, of some of the leaders, So if we must get it right, the only way we can support Mr. President is to sit up and listen and follow the direction of Mr. President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who have said that he wants performance. He doesn't want story, he doesn't want picture, he doesn't want jabore, he wants result. He wants Nigeria to have the side of a good relief.
Okay, what do you think will be the major achievement of the president when it comes to the issue of job creation? Because there's this ministry that actually did not get much of the attention that was expected, most especially at this particular point in time, when the world is talking about climate change, global warming, and the issue of food security is very, very important. But now we are not seeing that attention that is being given, that was given to that particular ministry.
Which ministry?
Ministry of Agric, in this particular budget.
Let me say this. No, when we're even talking about climate change, we're talking about Ministry of Environment. They are saddled with the responsibility to coordinate with other ministries to ensure that most of the things they are doing is in tandem with the policies to ensure that we safeguard our climate. There was a controversy over the weekend that the federal government took a lot of people to COP28, and then people don't understand that it is intentional. It is intentional. Mr. President did that intentionally to give opportunity to a lot of people. It is private individuals that are even more than the government officials. Do you know why? The government, they only took advantage of the window. Self-sponsored, registered. There's going to be a lot of linkages. Not
sponsored by the government.
It is not sponsored. It is private individuals as private individual. Self-sponsored. People sponsor themselves, taking advantage of the window that is provided by that conference, because it's an international event. When there is going to be a lot of exposure, business, and a new way of doing things. By the time these people come back with these ideas or the new information they get from the linkages, the exchanges, the business interaction, the opportunities, if they take advantage of the window, you see that it will have an effect on the country. Now, there's something that people don't, during the course of this trip, Mr. President signed a bill, a law of about 12,000 megawatts that should be produced speedily. You understand? That is how to get people out of what? Labor market. That is how to attract, because one of the major challenges we have in this part of the world is electricity, and the government is just plugging every holes to ensure that investors thrives in this country. Jobs are created. Government is trying its best to create enabling environment, and that is what the budget represents. If you look at it critically, this budget focuses on, the government is so interested in changing the landscape. Government is carrying out a lot of reforms. Government is doing so much to ensure that they give life to the country. And once there is life in the country, you find out that a lot of economy, a lot of businesses, a lot of things will be happening positively in this country.
Thank you so much.
To trust the government and see what they have to offer in the 2024 budget.
Thank you so much, Mr. Olufoabi Desmond, the public affairs analyst, and discussing issues that has to do with the state of the nation. It's nice having you, and you've said so much that has to do with the plan of the government, and we hope and we pray that yes, they all come to sites where a situation by all Nigerians will accept the fact that yes, the government have done much for them and will progress as a nation. It's nice having you once more. This is how far we can go today. Discussing the issue of the state of the nation is very, very critical. Getting to understand how the government plans its policies and programs, and how it also implements some of these policies and programs to the betterment of the nation is what we all seek for. And we hope and we pray that yes, the leadership of the country will do its best to make sure that yes, they serve the people who elect them into power. My name is Isanu. Have a wonderful day and stay blessed.